Hey everybody, it's Ed. Was going to do a different video, but the more that I've been thinking about it, I really wanted to talk a little bit more about the Elvis movie. I went to see it again yesterday. I went with my father and I went with my son. My son is 17 years old. He is not a fan of Elvis. He's really not a music fan. Well, not not the kind of music that I listen to. He enjoys different types. I'm not even really sure what to call what he enjoys, but regardless, it was I was happy that I was able to get him to go with my father and myself. And he was engaged through the movie for the most part. And I, was checking and looking over and he did really seem to enjoy it for the most part. So the fact that after it was done, when I asked him what he thought, his response to me was being a wise ass, well, it was a movie. And I'm like, okay, but did it suck? And he's like, no, it didn't suck. So I was like, you know what? We'll just leave it at that. I'll take it. And it was good. So, tried to engage him a little bit more. Well, was there any particular part that you enjoyed about the movie? And I'm not going to tell you what he said word for word, but he enjoyed the part where Elvis sang "Trouble" and that whole ordeal broke out, and he really enjoyed that. And there were other parts that I was checking over to see what his reaction was, and if he was just sitting there stoic or really enjoying it. And for the most part, he did seem to be enjoying it. I saw smiles on his faces at times, you know, um, and it was good. So I'm glad that I was able to take him. Now I'm trying to work on getting my daughter to go, but she wants nothing to do with it. She is a fan of I guess the more modern music, if you will. She's at this point she tells me she is not an Elvis fan, but it is what it is. I keep trying, so hopefully I will be able to get her to go. All right. So with all of that being said, now this is only the second time that I'm seeing the movie in the theater, and I have to say I definitely enjoyed the movie. There are parts of it that I'm not too keen on, but overall, I think the movie is really really well done. And the parts for me that I thought were especially well done was the 70s Vegas. Now, they how do you put this? Not everything is entirely accurate as far as the years go, but in the same sense they are. Um, for example, it appears that they do the opening of the 1969 engagement, but they really modeled it after the 1970 opening engagement, which was the "That's the Way It Is" period. Uh, unless I misinterpreted how they were portraying it in the movie. But for the most part, like all of the outfits, the jumpsuits and everything looked entirely accurate. The stage setup for the most part looked like it did, and they really really paid attention to the detail of the concert era, and it's amazing to watch on film. It really gives you the essence of what it was like at an Elvis concert. I mean, it's not over exaggerated, it's not overstated. It just really it blends when they blend that on tour footage and show the audience and their reaction and things like that, and then have it cut screen with the modern audience and that was filmed with Austin. The reactions are identical, and even the same thing with the 50s crowds, the reactions and things like that. The audience actors did a really good job at being able to recreate, what the feeling would have been like at being at a concert. So I found that to be absolutely amazing. Like it's almost as if when I was watching the concert parts, like I wasn't watching a movie. It was almost like being at an Elvis show. And again, it's not Elvis. Austin isn't Elvis. However, they are using, during the 70s parts, they are using Elvis's vocals. Now, I've heard apparently that they layer Austin's vocals in with Elvis's. If that's being done, I really can't tell the difference, to be honest. So, I don't know. And of course, for those of you who have not seen the movie, a little spoiler, at the end when they have Austin at the piano at the doing Elvis in 1977 singing Unchained Melody, they then cut to the real Elvis singing, and then other film of the real Elvis, and like a little montage, which is great. And uh, I gotta say, this time when I watched the movie, it got to me. It got to me at the end. The first time I watched it, I must have been really tired and my emotions weren't really kicking in. I was just really kind of thinking about getting home and getting to sleep that night. But yesterday I saw it at 11 o'clock matinee, and which was the perfect time for it. And I got to really take it in, and the ending definitely got to me this time. So I was feeling it, and it was emotional. It was emotional. But I have to say, overall, I really do enjoy the movie. Uh, and actually, I think I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. That's what I would give it. Austin is really good. I kind of appreciated Tom Hanks's portrayal of Parker a little bit more yesterday. However, the accent still kind of bothers me. But I I kind of like what they did with the Colonel. I don't know if it was 100% accurate, of course, but it was I think pretty close. I think actually he could have been portrayed as a little bit more shrewd than he was. Um, but it was really good, and it was really well done. And I highly recommend going to see the Elvis movie. If even if you are not an Elvis fan, I think it's worth seeing. And the one thing that was really cool about being there with my son and my father is I had actually my father sat between my son and I, so my son kept having questions, and he kept asking my father certain things. So that was cool, and I was like, all right, good. At least he's interested enough to ask, like, oh, well, did that really happen, or whatever. And for example, when they show in the movie of Elvis firing the Colonel on stage, he's like, did that happen? And I had to be like, well, no, it didn't happen on stage. Elvis would never do anything intentionally to ruin a show for his audience like that. So they did that for drama, but it happened, behind stage, and the audience wasn't aware and whatever. But not even behind stage, but in other words, it happened when, it didn't happen in front of an audience like that. So he was like, wow. But overall, again, he enjoyed it, even though he says that it was meh or whatever. I think he just doesn't want to admit it for whatever reason. My father, this was like his sixth time, I think, seeing it, so it's safe to say that he definitely enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and get my daughter to go, but that's going to be like pulling teeth. So if that happens, I will let you know. All right, everybody, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have seen the movie, how many times have you seen it? Do you plan on continuing to see it? And I think it'll be on HBO Max 45 days after the release, so probably around August. All right, everybody. Appreciate you all. Have a great day. Be good to yourselves, good to each other. Take care.